Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Slayton. I'm with the Louisville Pride Foundation, and this is a digital panel discussion for Transgender Day of Visibility. It's part of kind of an effort that we're doing with the Fairness Campaign to get information out to people during COVID, help get people connected and things like that. Just to talk about that real quick before we get into the meat of everything, which will also give us some time to make sure that we're really on the air. Fairness Campaign and Louisville Pride have been putting together a weekly phone call between some LGBT organizations and service providers to help fill gaps in the COVID situation, and then help figure out how do we get help to LGBT people, and how do we get LGBT people to help in this situation. So you can visit our websites for more information. You can sign up for an email through the Louisville Pride website. We're doing a weekly email about that. And we're going to start doing some weekly or frequent video discussions like this one. So since today is Transgender Day of Visibility, we wanted to start with that topic. So we have several people here to talk about a couple issues with us. I'm going to let them introduce themselves as we go through the first question here. And so Victoria, if you will start us off, the first question is, why is visibility important in the transgender community?
Hello, I'm Victoria Simone Taylor. I am a DJ, dancer, small business owner. And why is visibility important in the trans community and the world? I think it's important for us to be seen, because when you don't see yourself, there are no possibilities in front of you. And growing up as a person of color, there weren't very many people that I could look up to that were gay or trans on television. I knew many people in my life growing up that were trans, but I didn't see them in workplaces, television. So it's important for people to see themselves so they can see their possibilities.
Quickly unmute myself there. Thank you very much. Sarah, do you want to take that question?
Sure. I'm Sarah McKinney. Work with several groups throughout the community, working with the LGBT population. For myself, I think being, and to mirror what Simone said, I grew up without knowing any transgender folks, and if you don't know anybody or have anybody to talk to, you grow up scared. And you just, and it puts us in a real bad spot, and it just, sometimes you just need somebody to say it's going to be okay, you can get through this. And I didn't have that, you know. To be more visible, to let the people out there know that there are others like you and that you're not alone, is so important to our health and wellness. And I think it's really important just to help people be who they want to be, or who they really are. So that's why being visible and letting people know there's others like you are out there helps.
Derek, do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Derek Guy. I'm a community activist, social worker. I think visibility is important because representation matters. And I think that it's important to have people out there that look and have similar experiences as you, so that you can know that you're not alone, kind of echoing what Sarah and what Victoria said, that you need people out there to show that you're not alone. So that's why I make sure that I let people know that I am a trans man, because it's important for people to see my visibility so that they know that they're not alone, and hopefully I can offer them resources and certain support that they need in the future, especially if they're trans and they don't have anyone else. So, yeah.
Zion, do you want to take it? You're
Unmute myself. Yeah. Hi, my name is Zion Brooks, and I'm on the board of directors for the Louisville Pride Foundation, and I also work at the Health Science Campus Office of Diversity and Inclusion for the University of Louisville. I think that when I think about trans visibility, it makes me think of in the Black community, we have what we call the nod, which is just like this really like short, small thing that in community, you know, lets other people of color, specifically Black folks, know like, hey, I see you. Yep, I recognize there's not a lot of us in the room or in the environment, and should need be, I got your back. So to me, that's what trans visibility means to me, and why that's important.
Thank you. Ryan?
Hey everybody, my name is Ryan Combs. I'm the co-chair of the Fairness Campaign Board. I'm the chair of the Fairness Education Fund. And by profession, I'm a public health professor. Trans visibility, I mean, so many great things have been said about it already, so I don't want to repeat anything, but I just maybe want to add, visibility is important because so often we are not seen. And I think that by being more visible, people who are cisgender, so people who are not transgender, in meeting us and getting to know us, it's a lot more difficult for them to have negative beliefs and opinions. Sometimes when people are being described in the abstract, it's really easy to dehumanize folks, and I see that happen quite a lot on social media or in the media. But it's a lot harder to hate people or dislike people when you know them. So I think our visibility is important because it kind of, we build connections with cisgender community in doing so, and we build allies through that process.
Thank you, everybody. I have a question I wanted to kind of follow up on that. What can allies do? What can cisgender people, what can allies do to help? You know, what can they do to show that they are allies, to, you know, make people feel more safe and make a difference in the world? Anybody want to take that one?
I think you can get out there and like Ryan said, get to know someone. Also, you can also take it upon yourself to research, you know, the things that you don't know or understand. I think that people are walking around with phones in their pockets. Google is free. I think it's important for people to educate themselves and not get secondhand information from other people. I think we have a lot of problems in the world because people lean on what they've heard rather than what they know.
Yeah, it's really good advice. Does anybody have anything else they want to share on that before we go into kind of the next set of discussions?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, you know, if you know somebody that is trans, just let them know that you're there with them and you'll stand by them and you're there for them as a person. And it's just really important that you make sure they know that you're okay with things, because we spend a lot of time worrying about others, and anything you can do to help that is going to help the trans person.
And that can be as simple as putting up a sticker in your office or your window if you're a business or something like that, that's going to send a message to everybody walking in that this is a welcoming and affirming place. One of the things I want to talk about is how COVID and the quarantine is affecting everybody, how it's affecting you all and your families. And then if you have any advice for people, you know, one of the things we've been talking a lot about lately is isolation. And, you know, I'm sure that being LGBT can be a very isolating experience. Almost everybody's LGBT has felt isolated at some point. And so many of us are kind of being pushed into an even more isolated situation right now. And that can be really challenging for all sorts of reasons. Also, a lot of people are out of work and things like that. So if you all wouldn't mind talking about how this situation is affecting you, and if you have any advice or thoughts for people who might be in need or kind of in a bad situation right now. Does anybody want to start that one off? Victoria?
Sure. How is it affecting me? Well, I like being alone. So initially, it wasn't really that big of an issue. But then when you're a creative, you start to think about all of the things that you can do better or what kind of content that you want to put out for your business. These have been the things that I've been going through. Um, I think that uh, especially now, you start to value hugs and personal contact, things that I didn't really pay attention to. Um, those are things that I definitely do miss. Um, I can say for those who are in environments where they can't be themselves or it's traumatic and triggering, I say start a digital journal. That way you can hide it away from those who, uh, that if you don't want to leave it laying around in a book, you can, uh, as I said earlier, get on Google and, uh, do some research, uh, journal your the start of this for you. That way you can look back on it and see where you were, a month ago or a year ago. And that, I think that helps through transition. Take walks, read books, and understand that this is for now, hopefully short term, and that it is going to get better. And I wish that someone had told me that when I was young, because there were no opportunities presenting themselves to me. I was operating in a place of no hope. The only thing that was presented to me as far as employment was either being a showgirl or a prostitute. There wasn't anything in the middle. So know that it gets better. Know that there are people out here doing the best that they can to be great community influences, and that life is going to be good. You just have to find your tribe.
And are you doing some online entertaining for people?
Yes, I've been doing a Wednesday Facebook Live, a Wednesday and Saturday Facebook Live show. And then on Sunday, I do a whole DJ, Sunday Funday DJ set. I normally take tips for the drag shows, and then I just do the DJ set on Sunday as a thank you to the community for supporting it. I find that has been therapeutic. I think that people need that. There are also other things that I've been doing. I'm in a few group chats where we get on and we can all call each other and we can talk. Those are the things that are helping me. I still ain't picked up a book yet, but I'm trying to get around to that.
Well, you can join the Louisville Pride Book Club. We're gonna have we got a meeting coming up. It'll be online.
Well, I'll tell you something. This out of watching Daddy Andy at 5 o'clock, Stephen Michael Carr does this book short story thing he does on Facebook Live. I do listen to him read the book.
Well, that's very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek, I want to ask you about that. I know you all have a young child at home. I don't know exactly how old. I don't know if they're small or not. But as a parent, how's this affecting you all?
I mean, I think I echo every parent when I say that it has been a hot mess express with having your kid at home 24/7 all day, every day. But no, it's been fun. I think the hardest part has been just making sure we're staying active, because my 7-year-old has ADHD, so he gets bored really easily. So if we're not doing things constantly, then he finds himself getting into mischief. So we have had some fun times. I think it's been, for my spouse, who is an introvert, they love this. For me, who's an extrovert, I am like losing my mind right now. I need social contact. I need intimacy with other people. I need to like go to a bar night and just hang out with folks. So I definitely have found myself trying to do different things to stay busy, whether that be Skyping a lot of people. I've been doing a lot of Messenger. I've been reading books, which is not normal, but I've been picking up books now. I'm in a musical coming up called Southern Comfort. So we've been having online rehearsals, which has been definitely different, but it's been really productive and it's been beneficial. For the people who are in situations that situations that are not beneficial for them right now, I would recommend keeping themselves busy, because depression is real during this time and isolation is real during this time. So people are finding themselves sleeping all day or not eating or just watching TV 24/7. But we've had some pretty nice days. Getting outside and taking a walk, like Victoria said, has been a saving grace for us. Cooking has been a saving grace for us in our house right now. That has been like a huge thing. My spouse keeps making cake, which after this, y'all are going to find me on my 600-pound life, because I just keep eating cake, y'all. It's serious right now. But no, I definitely think that journaling is a good idea as well, and just staying active with your close-knit friendships. So messaging them and checking in on each other, that's really important right now. Checking in on your extrovert friends, make sure we're still alive and not struggling through this. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's how that's affected me.
Thank you for sharing that. And I know, just to kind of throw this out there and I'm sure most people who are parents probably know this, but JCPS is doing their feeding sites for anybody that has trouble making ends meet. There's a lot of families that the best meal they're going to get during the day is when they're at school on the free or reduced lunch. And so JCPS is doing those feeding sites, and Metro has some options as well for things like that. Ryan, I know you have 2 kids at home, right? What are things like for you all?
Yeah, my 2 are 11 and 12, and I'm actually in my daughter's room because it's up kind of in the attic. So the biggest problem, well, not the biggest, but one of the issues that we've been having is just noise, because I'm still trying to work. We've had to switch all of our classes online, so that's been a big adjustment. I mean, I'm grateful to have a job that I really love and a job that I can still continue to do during this time, but yeah, definitely not used to all the interruptions, the dog barking, the kids chasing him around the table, and all of that. But really related to a lot of what Derek said. I guess some other stuff that we're doing just to try to keep some normalcy is trying to keep a schedule-ish, trying to eat at the same time every day, trying to make sure the kids brush their teeth before lunchtime, just like really, I mean, the bar might be a little bit low at the moment, but trying to get out and about every day. One of my daughters does not love walking, but she does love Pokemon. So I know we're a couple years late, but my 11-year-old is into Pokemon Go, and that just at least gets us around the neighborhood a couple times. So, just trying to keep things normal. The other thing that we've done is we don't watch the news as a family. Like, we don't have the CNN in the background. And so our kids are a little bit, they know what's going on, but they're a little bit oblivious as to the counts and the updates and the lack of protective equipment. They don't really need to know all of that. So just trying to keep that to the side for the moment, at least.
And you mentioned the protective equipment. Do you want to do a shout out for the program you're helping with there?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that a couple of people and I have done, so the folks who are behind the Andy Bashir meme group on Facebook, and the name is escaping me, which is not good. but like Andy Bashir memes for social distancing teens, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, so the two guys behind that and I started a website called maskmatchky.com. Basically, right now, the frontline healthcare staff are running out of personal protective equipment like gloves, masks, surgical masks, N95 masks, and also face shields and all sorts of other personal protective equipment. So basically what we did was we set up a site, once again, maskmatchky.com. If you have these in your garage or in your basement, if you are a business who uses this equipment but you're shut down right now, if you can donate that to your nearest healthcare site, we've got people who are putting their organization's information on that site. We've got people from across the state. So, for example, in Louisville, you can donate to U of L Hospital. You can donate to, I believe, Norton Baptist. There are some other donation locations, but just look for your nearest one. If you have those masks, giving those to the people who are literally treating people with COVID-19, they need them right now. They're asking for them right now. So, if you have those, please donate.
Thank you. Yeah, that meme group went from like 100 people to like almost 200,000 really quickly, which is pretty crazy. And anybody's watching, if you have any questions, if you want to put them in the comments, I finally am able to like see those as well. So if anybody has any questions, we can tackle those as well. Sarah, I wanted to ask you kind of how are you holding up? How's this affecting you? And then if you want to mention any big events that you had planned that had to get rescheduled, this would be a fine time to bring those up as well.
Yeah, so, when this first hit, I've been working pretty hard on the Transgender Wellness Summit with some of the folks here, and we've been working on that for almost a year and had a pretty big event planned and put a lot of time and effort and sweat into it, and then it just came to a grinding halt. And not gonna lie, it depressed a lot of people. But it is what it is, we're not alone. All the other things that I've been working on and groups I've been working with, we've had to readjust how we do things or not do them at all. So I went from about 85 miles an hour to 0 real quick. And that's hard. It's hard. But we'll get through this. And I just, obviously you can see I'm at work right now. I'm an essential worker, I guess is what they call me. It's our job to make sure everybody else can work remotely. So we have to be here to do that. And hopefully after this week, it'll calm down and we can start working remotely. For myself, my big concern's been my kids. I have a grandbaby that is probably going to be here tomorrow. Not going to be able to see him. We're not allowed in the hospital. And this is my first one, so there's that. So there's I don't know, we'll get through it. That's all we can do. This is what we've been stuck with, and we'll take it as it comes, And I feel sorry for all the folks that are put out of work. I'm fortunate that I have not had to do that. But there are a lot of people that have got it a heck of a lot tougher than I'll ever have it. And so and I think about, one of the things going back to the last question about the Trans Day of Visibility, I think about all the young trans kids that are stuck at home in a not so happy situation, with no escape. And that concerns me. So I think we just need to let everybody know that we're here for them and help. And it helps me to know that people can find the resources they need. We just need to let them know about them. So I'm making it. We'll make it.
Yeah, and just to include just to mention on there, we've put on our website, and of course this information is in a lot of places, but if you go to louisvillepride.com/COVID, we've got some resources specific for transgender people who have health questions or things like that. as well as some funds. I don't know how much are available. There's a couple organizations that have made funds available. And then community ministries, Dare to Care, a lot of those are all of those are up and running for anybody who has lost their job or needs assistance with rent or needs food or things like that. Those resources are there. And I think sometimes people are put off by the community ministries name. You know, people, LGBT people, many of us have a complicated relationship with faith organizations, but the community ministries are open to everybody. They do serve everyone. And if you do encounter any problem with them, you know, let us know, let the Fairness Campaign know, because that's something that we want to make sure doesn't happen with anybody. Zion, do you want to share how this has been impacting you all? I kind of want to ask, has it affected any plans for big events you have coming up?
Right. So I first want to start by saying thank you to Sarah for doing the work that you do to allow me to be privileged enough to work from home right now. I appreciate that. I also want to say stuff to the folks that are like allies, accomplices, or co-conspirators as far as, you know, what they can do to help and to be supportive. You know, as folks have mentioned, you know, definitely there are folks that have it worse than us, people that have lost their jobs, folks that aren't able to maintain their medication or any other types of gender affirming, you know, aspects of their lives. So, you know, definitely to donate to those funds that you've mentioned. I know that I've definitely seen folks who have, you know, put out individual, you know, GoFundMes or, you know, personal asks, you know, to get things like their medication and whatnot. So, you know, if you do have, you know, the funds, and if you are operating from, you know, some place of privilege, you know, to try to leverage that and, you know, give what you can. That said, comparatively, I am pretty privileged. I get to work from home, isolated with my partner and our animals, one of whom is a puppy and is really struggling with this. So that we're all struggling with this because he's struggling with it. You know, so I'm super fortunate in that way. You know, here we've been doing a lot of cooking. I've taken the opportunity to learn different ways to braid my hair, which has been pretty helpful. I did my own haircut the other night. So even though this kind of sucks, I'm taking the opportunity to learn different skills. As far as big events that we have planned, we're scheduled to get married in October. And granted, that does seem like a ways away, but we don't know what October is going to look like. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. But we do know that a lot of folks who are traveling to our wedding, you know, they're coming from afar, and that this situation might have an impact on their ability to travel if they've, you know, had any undue financial stress or burden. So we'll be reevaluating that in June or July. You know, it's kind of taking it as it goes along. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I want to end on a happier note. We talked about how everybody's lives are in turmoil, but let's go through. I don't think there's any questions in there. I'd like to hear from everybody. You know, maybe about you know, somebody who's a hero to you, or someone who is kind of, you know, it is the Day of Visibility. Who's an icon that you look up to, or somebody that inspires you? So I didn't give anybody any pre-warning for that question. So who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go ahead and go since I've been number one on the list all day. I have several people that I consider icons and lifesavers. There's Amaraj Sailing, there's Robbie Lynn, there is Laverne Cox, Angelique Cross. In these times of uncertainty, social media has been a really good place to see what's really going on in the world and how people are reaching out. I think that the best way to get through difficult times, at least for me, is music was always an escape. And daydreaming, I know it might seem a little off, but you kind of have to go to your happy place. So those are the people and the things that, you know, brought me a little bit of joy.
All right, who's next?
So I just stepped into the LGBT world a couple years ago, and I've met so many wonderful people. I mean, like Simone and Amiraj and folks that are brave and willing to get out there and let the folks know that there's a whole community out there that are, and you think back to the Stonewall riots, those are heroes. Those are people that said, we're here, we're not going away. And anybody that's able to get out in the face of the community and just say, you're not making us go away, you're not putting us in the closet. People like Mike that are going out and working with all the, yes, you, and working with all the LGBT groups in the community, just saying, hey, it's okay, we'll have a festival for you. And, be yourself, be proud. I grew up not being able to do that. And so it's important, anybody that can do that, the people at the LGBT Center at U of L, just saying, hey kids, it's okay. We're here for you. Those are my heroes. And the people that help others, those are the heroes in my book.
Zion, I'm going to ask you, and I also want to see the dog, which I think is probably right off screen.
Yeah, he's running the flight tug of war. So my the people who are I think like inspiring to me. I don't think there's like any like body specific or in particular, but I think like collectively, the folks and specifically the people that I would call ancestors who I am able to be resilient and creative because they existed. And then, same as, Sarah said, like, the folks who are, on the front lines of this and, putting their literal bodies on the line because they understand that it's all of us.
Derek?
Kind of piggybacking what Zion said, I would say ancestors who have allowed me to live my truth and to be as open and resilient as I have been. I would say so I'm a really big part of the leather community in Louisville, and they have been my saving grace during this time. They have been accepting and affirming and just become this huge family that I couldn't survive without. I'm currently a pledge for Onyx, which is the Black male leather organization. So the brotherhood has been entirely amazing during this time. And me and my brothers, we do like a Zoom chat every night because we miss each other so much. So it's been a huge part of like who I've transitioned into and how I've grown as a person. So those are some of the people that inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing and inspire me to keep being as resilient and as focused and as out and proud as I am.
So what's the title that you recently won?
Oh, thanks, Mike. I am the current 2020 Kentucky Leather Pride Boy. So thank you. Yeah, so that's been a huge thing, and it's been exciting. I have an amazing title family, and our title family is so unique that there was not one cisgender white male or female that ran for this upcoming pageant. So our entire title class is trans or people of color, which is awesome.
Wow. Awesome. Ryan?
Yeah, so I want to answer in a couple different ways. So the first thing is the specific people. So I transitioned socially 19 or so years ago, and kind of medically a couple years after that. So so it's been a long journey for me, but one thing that I realized along the way is that I don't feel like trans people have so many elders, especially trans men, because there are hundreds of trans men in Louisville and the surrounding areas, but so often they're younger folks. So I just wanted to, like, in terms of elders, Diego Sanchez, Jameson Green, Stephen Whittle, in their own ways, have all had an impact on me personally. And then locally, there are some great trans guys who transition later in life who I really value. Kind of more broadly, in terms of social support, as long as we're throwing out opportunities for social support and that sort of thing, I think it'd be good for us to mention Kentuckiana Transgender Support Group, and also Louisville Trans Men, and maybe any other groups that are out there. I want to make sure that they are named. Louisville Trans Men, which I am a part of, although I'm not on their committee anymore, but they meet monthly. There's a Facebook group that's hidden, a lot of discussion within that Facebook group, just supportive discussion. And I know that probably some other people on the call can talk about some other groups, but wanting to make sure that people know that the groups are out there. And for Louisville Trans Men, it's louisvilletransmen.com.
Yeah, I know another one is the Kentucky Health Justice Network, and I will get it wrong, but there's like the Transgender Health Network or project, or there's a transgender focus within that. Derek, you're involved in that, right?
Yeah, I'm on the board of directors. It's our Trans Health Advisory Board. And we have a fund that helps with surgeries, any equipment you may need. It helps with medicine. It helps with anything. And that's at KentuckyHealthJusticeNetwork.org. One of those, just Google it. Like, Google it and it comes up. We're the first ones that come up, and we have a support fund, and we are pretty quick about getting back to those requests. So
awesome. And then Sarah, do you want to talk about the support network?
Are you talking transgender support group? We meet weekly. We've had to adjust it to online. We do have a Facebook group. You can search for Kentuckiana Transgender Support Group. It's a very active group. We get anywhere between 17 and 25 members to show up at the meetings. It's just support. That's all we are. You know, we're just there for each other. We know what a tough gig this is, and we're here to listen and share.
Yeah, and this is definitely a time when everybody needs support. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. Thank you to everybody watching. We will, plan to kind of continue this sort of thing. So if you have ideas for things we should talk about, groups we should talk to, or anything like that, let me know. You can contact us at info@louisvillepride.com. If you have any resources or fundraisers that you want us to help share with our COVID information, send that to me as well. We want to do our best to make sure that people know how to get resources, and then also how they can help. I think a lot of folks are kind of stuck at home and twiddling their thumbs, and if they want to be active and they want to be helpful, we want to facilitate that. So thank you, everybody, and then we'll see you next time.
All right.